Arnold Barboza Jr. has beaten Jose Ramirez via unanimous decision. That was so convincing for Arnold Barboza Jr. So convincing for him. I knew he'd win the fight. I knew he'd be too quick for Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez, let's be honest, he's kind of a bit of a fraud now. He's been fraud checked many times ever since his loss to Josh Taylor. Hasn't put in any good performance ever since that loss to Josh Taylor that he had in the undisputed fight. And that was absolutely easy work for Arnold Barboza Jr. It was literally not even competitive whatsoever, that fight. Yeah, honestly, just from the off, Barboza was just boxing so well on the back foot. And, Ramirez was very clearly the harder puncher out of the two, but just couldn't land. Jose Ramirez was over swinging a lot and just couldn't pin Barboza Jr. down. Ramirez just wasn't good enough at being able to cut off the ring there. And that is because of how good Barboza Jr.'s movement is. But it's also because Ramirez, I just don't think his range control is overly great now. I really don't. He's declining a lot, Jose Ramirez is. He really is. And Barboza Jr., he didn't look great against Sean Molka in his last fight, but I think Barboza Jr. tonight showed, a proper performance. Barboza Jr. tonight showed his real self. And there's going to be people saying, rematch Molka, but at the end of the day, as much as it probably was a very harsh result, and it was harsh to give Barboza Jr. the win against Sean Mokob, but, I don't want to see that again. Just let Arnold Barboza Jr. move on now. That was a good performance from him. He came in, and, I think Arnold Barboza Jr. proved his worth there. And that is, even though I think Jose Ramirez just isn't overly great anymore and isn't a real good massive contender in the division anymore, I think that that's still a good standout win on the record of Arnold Barboza Jr. I do. It is a good win, and the fashion it was in as well from Arnold Barboza Jr. It is very good. He boxed very well, boxed very smartly, didn't really make any stupid mistakes in that fight at all. He just didn't really let Ramirez get enough success there at all, and just made Ramirez look sloppy, made Ramirez overswing a lot, made him miss a lot. And I just think throughout the fight, Arnold Barboza Jr. just really frustrated Jose Ramirez throughout. It was a very frustrating night for Ramirez. He was coming forward, but just could not pin him down at all. And it is because, Ramirez couldn't really, fully get range control under control at any moment in that fight, really, to be honest with you. I just think, sorry about that. I think Barboza Jr. was very good at mixing up his shots well. He went to the body nicely, went upstairs, and was just so quick at times. And it was like Ramirez just didn't always fully know what was actually hitting him a lot of the time. It was just very quick, well-timed shots from Barboza Jr. Barboza Jr. wasn't looking for big power at any point in that fight. He was just looking at nice, quick, accurate shots to land, and that would take it out of Ramirez. That would get the respect of Ramirez when he's coming forward. And Ramirez, whenever he came up close, Barboza Jr. got the better of him. Ramirez couldn't get up close to Barboza Jr. because he was just consistently getting hit with quick, bloody quick, consistent combinations from Arnold Barboza Jr. Barboza Jr. was good behind the jab in that fight, controlling it well. And I thought the game plan from Barboza was spot on throughout. It was spot on. And Ramirez at times seemed to be following Barboza around the ring rather than cutting it off. But again, Barboza, when, you've got a mover like him, a guy can change angles well, and, a quick mover, a guy moves his head nicely, he's going to be hard for Ramirez to pin down. But, you never know. With the run that Ramirez was on before he lost to Josh Taylor, it could have been better from. It really could have been better from Jose Ramirez back in his day when he was unbeaten. Ever since he's taken that loss, I just feel like mentally he hasn't been the same at the end of the day. Jose Ramirez, he hasn't been the same. I thought in his last fight against Barthelemy, even though he won mostly every round, Ramirez didn't look great in that fight against Richard Comey. I don't think Ramirez was overly impressive there. So it's like I don't think we're seeing a load of really impressive performances from Jose Ramirez. I just think they're pretty lackluster. And he got massively fraud checked and exposed once again today by Arnold Barboza Jr. And, I feel like as well, that's very important for Arnold Barboza Jr. because, there was a lot of talk about Arnold Barboza Jr. being a fraud and him being exposed in his last fight against Mokov. But Barboza Jr., I think, shut a lot of people up tonight. But I think it was clear, though. Last time against Mokov was it was a bit of an off night for him. And I feel like if they rematch, Arnold Barboza Jr. would put in a much better, more smart performance, and Arnold Barboza Jr. would win that fight. Okay, now what is next for both guys? For Jose Ramirez, I actually wouldn't mind seeing a rematch with him and Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor's coming off 2 back-to-back losses. Should be 3. One to Catterall, one to Tio, and another one to Catterall. Rematch Josh Taylor. That's what Jose Ramirez should do. Probably they're similar level right now as well, but it's a lower level fight than what it was. Even though that at the end of the day, they're both coming off losses now. Get that fight going. They're both coming towards the end of their careers. I think. Let them fight again. It's a good fight. For Arnold Barboza Jr., I would like to see him up against Mateus. I think for Mateus, obviously, he came off a win last weekend. I think a good fight for Mateus would be Barboza Jr. Barboza Jr. has got a style that could be interesting and could cause Mateus problems. But again, Mateus, he's always got the power to knock you out. So it's like, I think that's a good fight to make overall, in my opinion. I think for Catterall, he's got to get a title shot against Hitchens or Paro. Barboza Jr. is next in line. So I think just give him Mateus. There you go. Give him Mateus. It's a good fight, good styles. There you go. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll speak to you on the next one.